Well, hey there, YouTube. It's Petey again. Another upload for today. I haven't slept. I've been up for 2 days anyway. I got like 3 hours maybe. So I worked on the amplifier project today, and there was the jfets that I bought are fakes. So it was an American seller. Initially, the reason that I bought this PCB, I thought that I had all of the parts. The part number is 2N5485, and we had 2N5458. And I'm usually pretty good with that stuff. I worked in the auto parts industry, so when you work with numbers, you just kind of get they become more of a language than if you don't work with them. You just get comfortable with numbers, and they stand out and almost become like words. You know what I mean? So I'm pretty good. Is that an exaggeration that I'm pretty good about knowing what I have here?
Oh yeah, you are.
It's crazy. I'm almost always right, and it can be something that I got a real long time ago. Um, and I was wrong. I just clicked on it. I knew when I clicked on it that I was taking a chance, and with the way my luck has been, I shouldn't have made this decision. Then when I realized we didn't have the part, I went and looked on eBay, which is always a no-no. Never get, but I couldn't find them anywhere else, which tells you don't buy this circuit. Avoid at all costs, avoid the MXR noise gate. If you're going to build a noise gate, go to Electric FX and buy the Dodd 230. That one uses a Vactrol. Now the Vactrol I paid $2 for mine with $3 shipping, and I've got to wait. It's coming from China. It's going to take a little while. Who knows? Maybe I'll get lucky. Sometimes I order stuff from China and I get it in 9 days. So I'm believing in that. I'm believing in a miracle and some good luck that this is going to show up and that circuit's going to work. It's a low parts count circuit, and I'm hopeful. But anyway, yeah, I worked on it today. The Thunderbird circuit works. That was the really complicated, tons of parts. It takes 9 volts and then goes through a charge pump and gets voltage up to 24 volts or 22 volts. That all works fine. And I got to tell you, I had an issue with it. I had a one of the pots wasn't quite soldered right. They're 9 millimeter. There's these tiny pots. I had to go back and resolder everything, and it still didn't work. And then I resoldered those pots. And once I redid the pots, everything was fine. So I was being a little ginger when I soldered those pots in because they're plastic. And I've melted stuff like switches from over soldering before. I use a 40-watt iron. So the long and the short of it is, I had made this micro amp that I showed on this channel. It's a TDA 2030. I think it's rated at 14 watts. I've got three 18650 batteries in there that are kind of half charged. You know, the LED isn't as bright as it was. And we ran a long speaker cable over to a Fender 12. Came out of a Vibra. Some guy bought a new Fender amp and replaced the speaker right away. Put the speaker up for 25 on Craigslist, and I went out and bought it from him. He's like, that speaker's only got like 10 hours on it. So I've got that Fender, and it's in this like naugahyde briefcase that I found that just barely fits a 12. And then I tried it on a bigger speaker, a Gauss. I think it's a 2148. It's a huge magnet, 400-watt speaker, and it's got like a JBL where it's got an aluminum cone. And it's this amp just sounded killer on both of those speakers. I really liked it. I think I liked it better on the Gauss speaker, but it does that low, clean, exceptional clean. The crunch sounds are really good, and the the distortion is. I bought this amp specifically for the distortion, and my concern was I'm probably going to need a noise gate. I tried it with and without the buffer. The buffer adds a little bit of high end. It does color the tone, and I like having the buffer on there. Although there's a tilt EQ on this Thunderbird. I really like this Thunderbird. I really do. It's got volume, presence, bass, treble, gain, and then tone. And that tone is a tilt EQ. This is a really flexible circuit, and it just sounds fantastic. So the idea is this is a center channel for a wet, dry, wet, so there's not going to be any processing. Just a guitar signal going into it. My guitar comes out, goes to a volume pedal, then it goes to an active splitter where my signal is cloned, and that channel goes right into the amp. So I figured if I'm going for a high gain or like really distorted thing, I might want to consider a noise gate. And that led me down this path where I ended up I'm pitting two of the commercially available, the only ones. There's another noise gate that I saw that was on a Polish site. There was an NS2 clone, and I'm not even going to bother going there. But I think these are the only two, the MXR, and then there's this Dodd 230 that uses this Vactrol. So I have that Vactrol on order. When that comes in, I'm going to be boxing this one up. In the meantime, I can drill out the chassis, run the DC wiring, because that's a chore. It's a lot, the wiring. And there's one battery pack, which is 4 packs of 3, that's wired up in series parallel, that goes through a fuse, then goes through one half of a DP-DT switch. Then there's a 12.5 volt pack that goes through the other half of that switch, and then to a 7809 voltage regulator circuit with some filtering capacitors. And then I run the output of that to a strip, like a barrier strip, like a rail, 2 strips of one positive, one negative, and then I can tie in at 3 or 4 other points and tap off 9 volts for stuff like the buffer, the noise gate, and the preamp. And the LED is going to be wired off of the noise gate. Has a LED socket, a spot for an LED, and I'm just going to tie it in there. So I built the LED assembly and cut in a resistor, and that was kind of a mistake because I've got to bypass one of those resistors. But yeah, that's what happened today. I got kind of worked up earlier. The fact that there's an American seller who's selling fake jfets just really pissed me off. It really pissed me off, and I'm going to find out more information about this. I'm going to get my money back, and I'm calling that seller out. I'm going to feature him on a video. I'm going to try to get a hold of him and do a back and forth and see what he says for himself. Is he going to pretend that, oh, it was my bad, So, I mean, I don't know. Do I want to do that? It's like one part of me is like, I want to make a federal case out of it, and the other part of me says, you know what? You don't need to. You went on your YouTube channel. This is my second video talking about it, so hopefully any of the people who are out there who build will see this. And you already know. I mean, I'm the dumb fuck that broke the golden rule that you never buy these counterfeited parts on eBay because they just don't. They're not out there. They're not on eBay. If they're on eBay for $6 for 2 of these things, it's a scam. They're not going to work. Maybe they will in some applications, but not in this. And if you look up the MXR noise gate on the DIY forum, what you see is nobody can get it to work. You're fucking lucky if you get it to work. So I found some posts. Some guys were saying this 2SK168E jfet works like a magic bullet. I got one of those coming. So we'll see. But as far as a shootout, like, would I recommend you go to Electric Effects and get their $6 DOD 250, DOD 230, I think it is, noise gate, which is based off using a Vactrol. And you can roll your own. I just, the functionality of this noise gate is based around this particular Vactrol. And for me, I would rather put out the $5 and get that part and not have to futz around with it. Of trying different LEDs or different Vactrols or doing stuff like darkening the LED. I've heard of people doing stuff, rolling their own Vactrols and getting really deep, far into it. And I'm from the school where if I can get it for $5, because I've never heard of a counterfeit Vactrol. But that's probably going to be the next video. Anyway, you guys, I had a heck of a day today. Send me some good vibes my way. I need it. Where's my little buddy? Hey, Kita. Hey, Kita. You want to be friends? He hates me. All right. Spank your putts. Peace.